This time we're doing a side-by-side comparison of the 2018 Tesla Model 3 to the 2024 Rivian R1S on a 160-mile road trip. We have to go to Idaho and drop off the Rivian, and so we have to drive a second car so we can come back. And that will be our 2018 Tesla Model 3 long-range dual motor. Why do I point the long-range and dual motor out? Well, because there are many Tesla Model 3s with different ranges due to the combination of just rear wheel or dual motor, and then there's the standard range and all this stuff. So. But the one we have is a dual motor long range, so it has less range than the rear wheel drive only. So it's about 300 miles, 310 miles, I think is the EPA rating. Then we have our 2024 Rivian with the 22-inch wheels on it. Why do I point out the 22-inch wheels? Well, because they don't have as much range as the 21-inch wheels. So again, that kind of factors into this. Now, the Rivian has about the same range. I think it's estimated EPA 316. So they're very similar, the two of them. But you will probably notice that the Rivian is a gas guzzler. Well, maybe we can't call it a gas guzzler, but an electron guzzler. And the Model 3 will be much more efficient. Many people have a tendency to not think about this because they think the Rivian is an electric vehicle, so it is way more efficient. Well, yes, it is way more efficient than a comparable gas or diesel vehicle, but it's not nearly as efficient as our 2018 Tesla Model 3. So now on this trip, I'll be driving the Rivian, and my daughter probably will be driving the Model 3 here. And then we can see what the average consumption is on those. All right, so now here in the Rivian, I just sent the directions right here from my cell phone to the Rivian. That makes it much easier that way rather than having to type in stuff here. Since I'm using the calendar in here, I just go to the calendar, tap the address, this pops up, and then I send it to the Rivian. So a really great feature. Now here we see it says 158 miles. Not quite 160, a little bit short. 2 hours, 39 minutes. We should get there at 11:36 if we would leave right now at 8:58 a.m. By the way, it's 55 degrees out, so not too warm. Not necessarily optimal for an electric vehicle. 70 degrees or so would be a little bit better, but heck, we take 55. That's wonderful. And it says here, arrival range 88 miles. And well, there is a point right there with a charger. Let's see if we hit go what it actually tells us here. Well, as far as I can see, there is no charging stop in here though. All right, so it says we should be able to get there without charging. Not sure. So we are currently at, if you can see this here, 94%. So pretty full. Let's see here. Let's go here. And this is on all purpose, which means all 4 wheels are driven and regenerate. So also cool feature is here, the elevation. I like that. 3,280 feet right now. We will gain quite a bit because we will have to drive over Lookout Pass. I believe it's like 6,000 feet, so we pretty much double this. That will be interesting. Also kind of fun here to see is the motor temperatures. They're basically 60 degrees. It's funny that they're a little bit warmer than the outside temperature, but the vehicle hasn't been driven since last night, so about 15 hours ago was the last drive with this. Yeah, so we'll take this and we'll see what our average will be. Trip A here is reset already. And well, since I'm sitting in here, I guess it's already starting to count there or whatever. But yeah, the only other thing we could look at here, so it shows 277 miles based on all purpose. We'll see if that's the case. Not sure. I'm personally not a fan of looking at miles because it really don't know. It don't know how fast we're going to drive, where we're going to drive, how we're going to drive, or anything really. At least definitely not on this energy screen. It would know more. Here it knows more what we're doing, and it says we arrive with 88 miles. It's what, 158 to get there. Yeah, I guess that adds up to about the 277 there or whatever, huh? Okay. Well, so this is the Rivian, which I'll be driving. Now let's go take a look at the Model 3. And here we are in the Model 3. It is still charging. It's only at 79% at this point. I just plugged it in this morning, so it has some catching up to do. We probably won't get much further with the charge here because now it's 9:04. Here it shows 58 degrees. It's probably showing a little warmer than the Rivian because it is charging, so there is some heat that kind of sneaks up to that temperature sensor usually. Also, I guess we need to download a update there. Unfortunately, where the car sits, it cannot connect to the Wi-Fi. So this being basically an older Tesla, it's 6 years old now. Its Wi-Fi doesn't work as well, or its Wi-Fi, its connection to Wi-Fi, its antenna location is not as good as like on the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck in the same location here will connect to the Wi-Fi. The Rivian does connect to the Wi-Fi, but this one does not, so it is lacking a little bit there. So I cannot send my directions from the phone here to the car, which that's what I usually would do. So at this point we can't get that information unless I type it in manually. I guess I should do that so we can see what it says. So I typed in the address, but this is not the correct address. It couldn't find the correct address, which it kind of sucks with the Tesla. When you don't have reception, half the stuff just don't work, it seems like. So yeah, so this is an address close, but yeah, not perfect. So it shows 154 miles, about the same, 2.5 hours, about the same. And now this shows 11:36 a.m. arrival. Obviously now it's already 9:08, so even on the Rivian now the time is going up or later for arrival. So this here says 18% arrival, and I don't see any charging stops needed. And actually here on the map it's clear that there is no charging stops. On the Rivian it showed the charger on the way, which makes one believe we may have to charge, but here it clearly says no charging needed. We should get there with 18% now that we're at 80. So for every percent we gain here, we should gain one here, I guess. So if this goes to 81, we should be arriving with 19%. So again, this should not be a problem. We should be able to get there without any issues. And so 79% would translate to 230 miles right here, which this is a fuel gauge and not a range indicator. And if we look at this 230 miles, we got 154 to go, so that makes about 67 miles left, which we got 18% out of about 310. So 18% would be just under 60 miles actually. So yeah, this is not an indication of how far you can really go. Also, I'm not sure how accurate this is right now because, well, it says routing with no traffic data. It doesn't have a connection to the internet, and then things are not quite as accurate because right now it doesn't know the traffic. Obviously, that's one of the things, but also it considers other things like the weather and so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it, and I don't think all these things go into it right now because it doesn't have a connection to the internet. But heck, that's what it is. Either way, we have charging available for the Rivian on the way, and we have charging available for the Tesla on the way. So there's Tesla Superchargers and there's Electrify Americas, and we do have a adapter for the Rivian, a CCS adapter or Tesla to CCS, so the Rivian could charge at certain superchargers around here. So that is another option we do have if it's needed. Well, now we basically have to get ready. Gotta get everybody in here. Yeah, like I said, my 16-year-old daughter probably will be driving this. My wife will be sitting next to her, probably doing some work while I'm driving the Rivian, and we'll just see how far we can get. Most likely the cars will make it without charging. We may stop anyway because quite frequently we need a bathroom break. So, all right, let's get packed up. Off we go. Electrify America. So we're at 51% there, so we got plenty of juice. We're cruising at 2.14 miles per kilowatt hour at this point, so not too bad. Lost some elevation here, so we're a little lower, about 1,000 feet. Motor temperatures came up. Well, why are we here? Well, we don't really need to charge. We still should be able to make it here, actually. It says here we're 42 miles away. Oh, where did this go now? This just went away right now. Huh, that's interesting. Well, it was about 100 miles range at arrival, so we still good. But when I get there, I don't want them to have to plug the car in for me, so I'm gonna put some charge in here. On top of that, guess what? Need a bathroom stop. So let's get this thing plugged in. Here we go, 75% in no time. It was super quick. Talked to a guy with a Beamer next to us, and he had a little trouble charging, but I guess he's getting free charging, so he can have some trouble. Just kidding. But this is a busy station here. There is another Rivian that pulled in as well. Yeah, busy little place right here. But yeah, we got 75%, so right now it shows we should arrive at 172 miles at our location, which is almost twice of what we had before. We had like a 80 something, and that is so that we don't arrive with an empty or almost empty or low state of charge, so that they don't have to deal with it when we drop it off there. I don't want them to have to deal with charging right away or here in the next couple days. So, well, we're getting back on the interstate, and we got about 41 miles to go, I guess. So in about 45 minutes we should be there. Well, we have arrived at our destination. We got here with 62%, 183 miles. And so let's see here, let's go here. We're still at about 2,200 feet, so about 1,000 lower, but we had to go over Lookout Pass to get here. We averaged 2.13 miles per kilowatt hour, and we used 74 kilowatt hours. It was 156.4 miles to get here. Temperatures are like in the 130 for the front and 123 for the rear. I think the front works always more than the rear on this car. So not too bad at 2 miles per kilowatt hour. That is not too terrible for this particular vehicle. We did stop on the trip a total of 3 times. I just stopped down the road to rinse the car off a little bit because I didn't want to bring it in all dirty here. So that is not too bad. Overall, how long it took to get here doesn't really matter. It's now 11:59 here, but that's Pacific time compared to before where we were mountain time, so it would be 1 o'clock. But mainly we did top speed 70 miles an hour, okay? Montana would have 80, so we went slower. There's 75s here in Idaho and stuff, but we pretty much did it all the way 70 or lower depending on traffic and speed limits. So we got a pretty good result here. So, well, now we need to look at the Model 3 and see what it done. Now here in the Model 3, we arrived with 26, so above what it estimated. Basically just like the Rivian. Let's see here, energy screen 26, by the way, is 76 miles, but let's bring that back. So trips, there we go. Distance since last charge, here it says 160 miles, so this car drove 4 miles more, not sure how. 38 kilowatt hours used compared to the Rivian. This is nothing, and we ran at 236 watt hours per mile. So definitely the Model 3 is way more efficient than the Rivian. It is a smaller car, but it travels fantastic. And so people misunderstand sometimes. Just because a Rivian is electric, they think it's great and super efficient. It's not. These big vehicles, the trucks and the SUVs, electric, they're not very efficient at all, just like in their gas versions. So, well, now we gotta get the Rivian dropped off here, and then we'll get back home, or maybe go around here, look around a little bit. Never been here in Hayden. Maybe we go down to Coeur d'Alene, do a couple things. We gotta get the Model 3 charged at 26%, which is no problem. There, Coeur d'Alene has a Tesla Supercharger. I also noticed as I came in on the Rivian screen, there's an EVConnect DC fast charger here, a CCS. So make sure to give us a thumbs up for this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. Also, click our channel icon, go back. We have tons of videos about road trips, wintertime driving, summertime driving. There's lots of tips and tricks in those videos. Yeah, some of them may be a little bit longer, but there's a lot to learn and a lot to see. And if you're not having an EV yet, go there. You can see how life is with an EV. We live in rural Montana and we drive EVs only. So for 6 years now, we haven't had a car, an internal combustion engine car anymore. So yeah, so go check that out. Well, in any event, thank you for watching. Goodbye.